Hello everyone! Welcome to the second part of Is It Difficult to Love Me challenge. Finally, you are going to see how Iwaoi dealt with the current situation going on in their relationship, and also some others who were previously introduced to issues, let's say. So let's go! As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You are keeping this channel alive and going, thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy. A silent prayer for things to go well on his mind, Taichi busied himself around their flat before he was about to leave for a nearby gymnasium to watch Hayato's match, first after finishing his recovery. He was glad his schedule worked out in a way that allowed him to see the match live. After the accident and recently their wedding, he promised himself to never miss a single match he could attend. Not that Hayato ever complained when he didn't find him in the bleachers, but as a good husband, Taichi couldn't possibly let it seem like he didn't care for supporting his beloved. I hope he knows what he's doing. Adding a quick wish for Hayato's health, he dried his hands and quickly collected his things before he rushed to the bus stop. Despite trusting the doctors, he couldn't stop bouncing his leg the whole way to the gymnasium, subconsciously turning the wedding ring around his finger until he got off the bus, feeling his chest constrict a bit. It's fine. He's okay now, nothing to worry about. The manager wouldn't let him play if he wasn't 100% sure it's fine. Taking a deep breath, he made his way through the gathered crowd, using his privilege of being a known face to the employees to skip the line a bit and regain his footing before the hallways would fill with fans. Hayato got him a great seat too, but before he even got to the stairs, a pair of strong arms captured him just as he was walking past the changing rooms, for a moment sending his heartbeat skyrocketing. Sorry, I couldn't resist when I saw you. Letting out a relieved, albeit a bit shaky breath, Taichi turned around to return the hug, earning a soft chuckle and an even softer kiss on his cheek. Hey, sweetheart. I'm glad you made it. Of course. I can't just stay at home when I could be cheering you on. I know you cheer me on from home too. He pulled away a bit. The gentle expression settled on his face as he cupped Taichi's cheeks, making Taichi's heart stutter. But I'll play twice as good for sure when I know you're here. Just be careful on yourself, okay? You waited so long for this. Don't let all the rehabilitation go to waste. Please. Hayato flashed him a bright smile, standing up on his tiptoes to kiss him. No worries. I promise I'll be careful. I don't want to go back to the bench either. He glanced at the clock, leaving one more quick kiss on Taichi's lips before stepping back. Okay, I'll go now. Wish us luck. Wait. He opened and closed his mouth on empty when Hayato turned back to him curious, suddenly unsure why he wanted to bring up the challenge right now. Something wrong? No, it can wait. Tai, you already started, so you can tell me now. Biting his lip, Taichi averted his eyes, a light jolt running through his arm from where Hayato touched his hand. I was just wondering, is it difficult to love me? Where did that come from? Taichi shrugged, trying to look unbothered while his heart raced in his chest. You don't have to answer. It's a stupid thing to ask anyway. It's not. A moment later, Taichi was pulled back towards the strong chest of his husband, shivering when the gentle fingers brushed against his cheeks. And it's not difficult to love you at all. It was never to begin with. I walked into loving you with purpose, and nothing's changed since then. You're the sweetest person I know. I would have to be completely blind not to fall for you. Taichi's vision hazed. I see. Good. I'll tell you all about the things I love about you when we get home tonight, okay? Okay. Good luck out there. The strength required of Kenji to not start sobbing there and then as he stood over the mess he just made in the kitchen was immense. For some reason, nothing was going the way he wanted that day. Everything he laid his hands on went wrong somehow, breaking or making a mess or creating some other inconvenience for them. It only took a few seconds in between the crash of the bowl landing on the floor and the heavy footsteps to sound on the stairs behind him, and yet it felt like his whole life flashed in front of his eyes. Together with all the stuff happening to him since morning, he was slowly reaching his breaking point. Why can't you do anything right? Are you okay? He let out a shaky chuckle, instinctively rubbing the back of his neck. However, he stayed with his back turned to Aone, worried what he could find in his expression. Yeah, I reached for a knife and knocked it over. Sorry. A soft hum sounded behind him, before the large figure of his fiancée appeared in his field of vision. Good you weren't holding the knife yet. I suppose. Would be much more messy if I dropped the knife, huh? Aone frowned at him from where he squatted down to pick up the bowl, and gently flicked his forehead. Ow! What was that for? Who cares about mess? You could have hurt yourself. You promised no more hospital trips, remember? The deeply rooted worry was apparent in Aone's voice and face alike, and Kenji sighed, rubbing his assaulted forehead. I know, sorry. I just can't seem to do anything right today. A moment later, he found himself gently squished against Aone's broad chest, the soft hum resonating through it, vibrating in Kenji's heart. He relaxed into the embrace, his instinct overpowering everything the annoying, cautious voice whispered into his ear all the time. After all, Aone's arms were his safe space. As long as he was wrapped by them, no danger could get to him. It's going to be fine. Kenji almost laughed, but the words had almost magical effect on his mind. Still, he looked up, biting on his lip before he spoke up. Say, isn't it hard to love me sometimes? No. That's it? Aone shrugged, a barely visible smile playing in the corner of his lips. Why use many words when one is enough? Yeah, I should have known that would be your answer. This time, Aone smiled for real, bringing their lips together before getting serious again. It has never been hard to love you. Not for me. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Feeling as if all pressure and stress accumulated throughout the day left his body, Kenji hid his face in Aone's shoulder, determined to conceal how much the words moved him. Okay, I'll remember that. The frantic search for the correct documents didn't end, even now a week later, and Kunimi was at the end of his wits. He searched through every drawer, every folder, looked over every pile of papers in his office and their home, and yet came out with nothing but a growing despair. It couldn't get lost. I have them. I know I do. Why can't I find them? He folded his head into his palms, trying to ignore the looks of his co-workers, his attempts at maintaining at least a front of calm long forgotten. A thought to text Kindaichi to send him look through the folder he had at home again crossed his mind, but he shoo it away just as fast. Despite wanting nothing more than to spill everything to his fiancée, he couldn't drag him into this. No, that wasn't the case, actually. It was nothing but shame that kept him silent in front of his partner and best friend. Even though it wasn't out of his initiation, how could he possibly tell Kindaichi that? So, how's your search going? Chills ran down Kunimi's spine. Yet he managed to stay still, forcing himself to not turn around under any circumstances. Leave me alone! A chuckle grating all of his nerves sounded behind his back, and he had to strain all of his willpower to not throw up when a hand brushed against his cheek. Sure, I'm just saying. The meeting is next Monday, remember? I'm sure boss will be very curious about that report. Kunimi knew that, hence the desperate search. The same hand tapped on his shoulder, sending shivers through his skin before the presence finally disappeared from behind him. Only then he let out a shattered breath, his heart hammering into his ribs. Damn it! He returned to searching through the pile of papers when his phone suddenly clinked with a new message, startling him. Is everything okay? Unsure if he should smile or dread answering, Kunimi hesitated for a while before picking up the phone, feeling his hands trembling as he tapped in the response. Yeah, why wouldn't it be? I don't know, just got a weird feeling, so I wanted to make sure you are okay. I know we didn't really have time to talk much this week, but you know you can tell me anything, right? Kunimi bit hard on his lip, more guilt flooding his mind. Truly, in his focus on finding the documents he needed, he unintentionally kept pushing Kindaichi away. And while they somehow smoothed over the last challenge Kindaichi did, things were strained, to say the least. I know, but I promise everything is fine. Liar. Oh, okay then. Might be something else giving me weird feeling. Sorry for bothering you at work, I'll leave you be now. Don't forget to eat your lunch though, okay? I won't. He's always so kind. I might get home late today though. Sorry. Oh, okay, noted. I'll leave your dinner in the fridge then. Just warm it up when you come. So considerate. And you repay him by lying. Thank you. No prob. I'll leave you work in peace now. Wait, one more thing. He took a deep breath, but suddenly he couldn't stop his fingers. Isn't it difficult to love me sometimes? For a long while, there was no response. Then the dreaded three dots appeared. Why would you ask that? Just answer, please. I mean, maybe at the beginning. I was scared I could ruin our friendship at the beginning if I told you about my feelings. That made it a bit difficult. But other than that, no. You are the most lovable person I know. Thank you. I'll try to come home as early as possible. He put the phone down before Kindaichi could reply, battling the pressure building behind his eyes. He truly had the loveliest man in the world for a partner. And yet he might soon have to repay him by betraying his trust in the worst way possible. The past week was quiet. It wasn't the same tense silence as before, but Oikawa still found himself wishing for its return sometimes. At least then he knew what he felt, knew what to do. But now, he had no idea. He felt horrible for accusing Iwaizumi of cheating, even though it seemed like Iwaizumi took it as an honest mistake. He should have known better. So many years, and yet one incident was enough to make him doubt everything. Why? Sure, the guy could have been Iwaizumi's literal twin, but what did it matter? He showed himself as a complete fool, able to change gears in an instant, hurting someone he loved in the process, all of which stung perhaps even more than the thought of his fiancée cheating. Though, fiancé... Does he even think of us that way now? He glanced at the ring resting on his palm for about 100th time, the side twisting the invisible dagger in his chest. He didn't find the courage to put it back on yet, despite Iwaizumi noting he gave it back to him in order to make a decision about their future. It suggested he hadn't given up on them despite everything. However... You've been really quiet today. Oikawa almost laughed, but his tightened throat didn't let any sound out. I guess. Still pondering over it. This time, Oikawa did laugh, if the desperate, strangled chuckle could be called that. Obviously. I don't understand how you are so chill about it. With a sigh, Iwaizumi settled opposite him, and just one look at his face told Oikawa just how wrong he was in his words. This wasn't an expression of someone who was chill about things. Rather, he seemed tired. I just don't think that torturing yourself is going to help in any way. It's not like it can change anything now. Oikawa flinched despite there not being a single accusatory note in Iwaizumi's voice. Just stating the fact. And of course, he was right. He could beat himself up over it as much as he wanted. The things he said and thought couldn't be taken back. His numerous apologies couldn't turn back time. He had to look forward now. Yeah, you are right. What now then? I don't know. What do you want to do? He didn't have to think for long. Work it out. Expiate for everything. Make things better again. He squeezed the ring in his palm, gathering all courage he had to look Iwaizumi in the eye. So that I could put the ring back on without guilt. A barely visible smile tucked in the corner of Iwaizumi's mouth, and Oikawa could swear he saw his shoulders relax imperceptibly. We have the same goal then. That's a good start. Yeah. He paused, hesitating for a moment. Doing a challenge again was probably not the best idea. However, knowing the answer could make start a bit easier. At least he would know where he stood right now. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you ever feel like it's difficult to love me? Raising his eyebrow, Iwaizumi took a moment to think before speaking up. No, not really. Only when you are being whiny. Other than that, it's practically a second nature at this point. Aikawa nodded, quickly looking away to hide the mist entering his vision. There was still hope. He could do this. It was stupid, and Ashita knew it was. Everyone had their own tempo in which they wanted to advance their relationships. Just because they had been dating for over a year didn't mean they had to think about marriage already, right? And yet, he found himself thinking about the offhand comments of the nurses he worked with more than he should these days. You've known each other for ages and dating for a year too. He should give you a ring already. You stayed with him throughout the whole recovery. It's strange he didn't propose to you yet. I couldn't be with a guy if he didn't propose to me after a whole year. He usually just shrugged those comments off, noting they weren't rushing anywhere. He didn't need to have a ring on his finger to know their relationship was strong. Everyone had their preference when it came to marriage. So why did it bother him so much? Why did he find himself pondering deep into the night, feeling Tanaka's warm breath caressing his skin while simultaneously doubting his love for him? All that just because they weren't engaged yet. This is so dumb. He loves you. You know he does. What would change just because he would propose? Engagement can be broken just as easily if he wanted to. So what's the point in changing status? He knew all that better than anyone around him. Still, hearing Tanaka say, "We are done," despite not being aimed at their relationship, spooked him more than he would like to admit. In the end, engagement did mean taking a relationship a step further, and while he tried to convince himself he was fine with staying just boyfriends, he reluctantly had to admit he wished they would share last name one day. Why aren't you sleeping yet? The sleepy voice torn his line of thought, guilt washing over him for his doubts. He slowly turned in Tanaka's arms, chasing away the memories resurfacing in his mind when he looked into the storm-grey eyes. Sorry, I'm just thinking. About? Work stuff. Nothing to worry about. Tanaka didn't look convinced, the previous sleepiness gone from his eyes as he measured Enoshita with a probing look. Does it have something to do with why you are so quiet recently? Did someone say or do something to you? How Tanaka managed to hit the nail on the head so accurately every time was beyond Enoshita, though he would lie if he said it didn't make him feel warm inside. Still, he shook his head, hoping it was convincing enough to stop Tanaka from getting into his worried boyfriend mode and going to interrogate everyone he worked with. It's just, I was wondering if you think it's difficult to love me. You know, with how we started and all that. A second later, he was pulled under Tanaka's chin, the vibrations of his voice making him shiver. It's not. I don't know where this came from, but loving you is the easiest thing in the world. I guess that's why it took me so long to realize I actually wanted to be with you the whole time. Enoshita froze, for a long while unsure what to say. He squeezed his eyes shut, instinctively curling closer to Tanaka to soak in the warm, calming presence he missed so much before. I see. A light kiss landed in his hair. Let's talk in the morning, Now try to sleep. You need rest. I know. Good night. Sweet dreams, my love. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Well, I sincerely hope I closed Iwaoi issue, let's say, somewhat satisfyingly. Obviously, it's not the complete end, but it's the end of the little mini saga. And now they are going to have to deal with the aftermath of it. As I said before, I'm probably not going to do a specifically like one shot for them, simply because I don't see the need to do so, because they can just deal with it throughout the future challenges. Also, I'm kinda curious, what do you think Kinkuni is going through, because I did give a few hints to what's going on with Kunimi, and I mean, with Ennotana that's pretty obvious too, so give me your guesses on Kinkuni, please. I'm curious what you think. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.